Hello friends, and welcome to this interesting webinar on leveraging technology, think beyond basics. Friends, today many of you must be using technology to do business. However, for many of you, it is limited to execution of transaction and maintaining basic client management website or portal. But the world has evolved and you can use technology across host of business functions like communicating with clients, enhancing their experiences, and so on. To take your business to the next leg of technological advancement, today we have with us Amit Shah, founder and CEO of Wylth. Amit has over 15 years of experience in the field of fintech. So let's welcome him. Good evening, Amit.
Thank you, Nishant, for having me here.
Great. Amit, while we all know that digitalization is more cost effective than physical business, right? But can you put some numbers to it? I mean, how cost effective is it for MFDs?
Sure. Hello, friends. Good evening, good afternoon, depending upon where all you have joined in from.
Mhm.
I'm currently in London, so for me, just the morning has started.
Okay.
Nishant, to answer your question, if you see mutual fund distribution business has been traditionally done, in a paper format till few years back. So if you see number of transactions executed digitally, it was probably in less than 30-40% of the total transactions. Now today, if you look at it, almost 85-90+% of the transactions are executed digitally. So it's just not about digital execution, it's about the entire digital journey. Now today, if you look at it from a physical perspective, an individual cannot service more than 80 to 100 relationships. What I mean by that is, if you have 80 relationship, means around 230, 240 accounts, assuming 3 to 4 accounts per relationship.
Mm.
Now, if you look at financial penetration and the way the mutual fund business is expanding, especially in tier 3, tier 4 cities, where most of the existing and potential investors are looking at a trustworthy advisor who is their neighborhood advisor,
Mm.
then that number is going to expand quite dramatically. So today for advisors, we have one of the two choices. One is they keep on hiring more and more relationship manager with an average 80-90 relationship per person, or they kind of move into more of a digital world where most of the transaction, not only execution, but right from prospecting to execution to reporting and thereby rebalancing is all done digitally, and increase the number of customers to around 250 to 300 customers per relationship manager. Now, internationally, if you look at it, the average of what a financial advisor services of, say, a Morgan Stanley financial advisor in US would be north of 250 to 300 relationships, right?
Mm.
And the reason being that most of the journey with the customer happens digitally. So
Mm.
I am a big believer, of digital transition. Fortunately, in India, unlike other parts of the world, technology cost is very, very inexpensive.
Mm.
So, everyone is moving towards mobile first kind of, scenario. Customers have become savvy even in tier 3, tier 4 cities where they want to see their portfolio and most of the service being offered on a digital basis. So that's why I think it's more of a necessity for a financial advisor to become more to have more digital presence with the customer rather than the physical one.
Great, great, great. Amit, I would like to understand that how can MFDs shift their business, I mean, entirely to the digital world, and what would be the step-by-step process according to you?
Very good question. I think today the biggest problem for digital adoption is whether your end customer is ready to for that adoption or not.
Mm.
Now, that difficult question is solved in India from a perspective where most of the customers are kind of, I would say, for lack of a digital ready, which means that if a financial advisor wants to interact with them on a digital platform, whether it is chatbot or whether it is lead management tools or for that matter marketing tools,
Mm.
the customer is very, very receptive to those options, and they are savvy about it, because most of the bigger players today in the industry, whether it is e-commerce or whether it is banks, have already moved towards that. So when an advisor educates their customer to have more digital, relationship, it is not a novel thing for most of the customers today in India. Now, from a transition perspective, fortunately, for us, most of our financial advisors only have mutual fund relationship with the customer, and they have not expanded into other aspects of financial relationship. And that is where the opportunity also lies. So I'll give a use case. Let's take a financial advisor A who is today dealing with mutual funds with their customers, and most of the transactions happen in a physical format. Just think of a scenario where tomorrow a customer wants to invest in, let's say, PMS, wants to get a loan, wants to take a credit card, wants to take an education loan. And then that customer asks our financial advisor that, hey, you give me my entire, balance sheet in one go. It's
Mm.
practically impossible, because if one has to do it in Excel, which what today most of the people do, it is one, prone to error, and second, and the most important thing is it's insanely time consuming, right?
Mm.
Now, that's scenario one. Now, the other use case is for a financial advisor who is using, a platform like Wylth or any other platform which is, which helps them for in their digital journey. In that situation, at a click of a button, a financial advisor can deliver a multi-asset cash statement through a chatbot to a customer without actually any physical interaction with the financial advisor.
Mm.
Now, when we did a research sometime back through Nelson, what we
Mm.
figured out, among financial advisors, almost 30 to 50% of
Mm.
their time goes in servicing the customer's request, which means customer needs an account statement, customer needs a statement of SOA from the fund house, they need the capital gain statement, they need their holding statement, so on and so forth.
Mm.
Now, the series of events, the way it happens is customer calls the IFA calls their back office person, and the reverse thing happens. The entire thing consumes 15 minutes, right?
Right.
Now, instead of that, if a financial advisor is using a chatbot and the customer just goes to the chatbot of a financial advisor, which is branded in financial advisor's name, the
Mm.
entire thing can be done without even financial advisor getting involved into it. So
Mm.
two things have happened here. First, the financial advisor has spent those 15 minutes rather than running around and coordinating for the statement in actually meeting a new customer and closing a transaction. That's first. Second, and more important thing is the financial advisor's brand is being built in front of the customer. Whereas today, a customer is used with a digital interface only with larger brands. So today, if you are a bank customer of, let's say, any of the banks, Kotak, Axis, any of those banks, or if you are a wealth management customer of a larger wealth management outfit, they have their private chatbots, right, where the customer can interact, ask for service requests, products, and all the statements. The same thing today, a financial advisor can do it,
Mm.
right? And so just think of it from a customer's perspective. He deals with a chatbot with Kotak Bank, and the customer deals with a chatbot with the financial advisor, which means over a period of time, a financial advisor would, or the stature of the financial advisor would be equated to a larger institution. And that is what our role is, right?
Mm.
Because once that brand is being built out, then the easier thing, which is cross selling different products and expanding the wallet share, would automatically happen.
Okay, okay. And so you covered that apart from transaction, how can MFDs leverage technology for higher production? So you have talked about chatbot, you have talked about marketing tool, but there are a lot of marketing tools to grow business. There are a lot of free marketing tools, I guess. So can you tell us about these tools so that MFDs can use them to promote their business?
Sure. Uh, Unfortunately, there is nothing free in this world, right? So when something is offered free to you, then you become a product of that particular, website. So I am not a believer personally of using anything which is free.
Hmm.
Uh, Obviously, there are mediums of creating and building a brand, which is through LinkedIn or Facebook. Most of our financial advisors might use Facebook, but these are all very, very expensive, mechanisms to do it. Then there are certain paid services where you can send across WhatsApp messages and stuff, through your creatives. I don't know how effective they are, because the problem with that is the agency which provides those creatives
Hmm.
are providing that to 500 other agents or 5,000 other agents. So everyone is sending exactly the same creative with just the name change, right? So
Right.
I am not pretty sure how effective that is. I think building a brand is a process. You cannot, or marketing from that perspective is a process. It cannot be done overnight. All these small tools obviously help. So first and the foremost thing is that, one should have a digital presence, whether
Mm,
on Facebook or LinkedIn, more so on LinkedIn, right? Because in long term, that's how you create a good visibility and brand, especially all of our MFDs customers who are, in the age bracket of 18-20 till 35-40, they are all on LinkedIn, right? So that's why it's paramount important to be there. Now, surprisingly, when we did a research, one of the things which we found was only 20 to 25% of the MFDs who are more than 15 crores of AUM have
okay.
an active LinkedIn account, right?
Mm,
What I
oh,
mean by that is they do some posts there, they are active and they have, followers, and
mm,
their content is being used.
mm,
What we can help MFDs do is essentially something called SEO. So you need to have the right SEO so that you get the right hits, for your digital presence, and thereby it keeps on growing. Because
mm,
the unfortunate part in the digital world
mm,
is you can start from zero, but you need to keep on adding new and new relationship for it to multiply. You cannot just wake up tomorrow morning and say that from zero I will have 10,000 followers, right? It's a process. So it has to start with zero and then end with 10,000. So
mm,
we have a very strong marketing team who can help them doing it. But besides that, as I mentioned, there are ways to, if one is ready to spend money, there are ways to kind of, increase that kind of digital presence through those marketing channels, whether it's Facebook, whether it's LinkedIn, or some of the paid subscriptions where they give those advertisements and stuff, which can be WhatsApp.
mm. But which paid tools? Let's talk about the paid tools. So, which paid tools should MFD consider to increase online traffic and manage day-to-day business activity?
Uh, See, from a paid tool perspective, for an MFD, it would not be economical to go for any one of them. They are
Mm,
better off to deal with a platform like ours who have already paid that higher fees, because the problem with that, so let me just give a simple example. If you want to run a digital marketing thing under your own brand with white label platform and solution, or if you want to run your own chatbot, right? The
mm,
initial cost itself to do that is anywhere ranging from few lakh rupees to going up to 20-30 lakh rupees. So
mm,
for a mutual fund distributor who is, let's say, less than 100 crores of AUM, that doesn't make sense because the cost benefit analysis is not there. For a larger player like ourselves, that's a cost, our investment. Instead of cost, we consider an investment in building our platform. So then what a mutual fund distributor would pay is essentially just a variable cost, which is not expensive at all. Uh, to answer your question, what are the typical tools to complete the full cycle? Which a distributor would need. The first and foremost, starting with the lead generation tools.
mm,
So basically, how do you capture your leads?
mm,
How do you process those leads? How do you track those leads? Right. After that comes, the proposal stage. How do you send digital proposals to your customer, to your leads whom we have qualified for
mm,
the product, including, doing their 360-degree view of the portfolio. The
mm,
third thing, once the potential customer is converted into a customer, then how do you interact with him digitally through service ticketing mechanism?
mm,
Because today most of the distributors take the customer's complaint on the phone. So again, the example I gave earlier, you waste 15-20 minutes analyzing the problem, taking the problem from the customer. By the time you translate that to your back office or operation person, one out of the 10 items would have definitely got missed out, or not communicated properly. So
yes.
the customer's problem is still not fully resolved, right? And
Mm,
you have spent so much of time. So if you have a service ticketing tool, the customer just raises a ticket. Till the time the ticket is solved, your entire system knows that what is pending, right? And it's fully audited and tracked. And the last part of it is digital marketing tools. So from time to time you do marketing campaigns and stuff which are all personalized and branded in your own name, right? uh, Now most of the MFDs I've come across, they communicate to their customers through the WhatsApp groups, right? Because sending one-on-one is practically impossible. You can't send 300 messages sitting there, right? It's not efficient use of time.
right.
Plus, for them to directly take a business account and send those things is also very expensive.
Hmm.
So, having an integrated chatbot which does this, which has this tool. So I'm saying as a composite package,
Hmm.
if you have this full CRM, which is at what it is called, right? What a Salesforce or anyone else would offer. Something like that is what my view is necessity today. Maybe they are not seeing the use of it today, but fast forward 5 years, I
Hmm.
think the difference between a distributor who grows from 50 crores to 500 and 5,000 crores versus someone who grows from 50 crores to 7,500 crores,
Hmm.
technology is going to be the differentiation between these two, advisors.
Great, great. So, Amit, you talked about lead generation. So, I would like to know about how does it work? I mean, if let's say if I conduct investor awareness session and I
Mhm.
generated a lead, so and I feed it into the Wylth system, then how the system will help me to convert lead into client? What's the
Sure.
journey?
Uh, so
Hmm.
leads are in two formats, organic and inorganic. So
Hmm.
first, let's talk about leads which are generated from outside the system, not from inside the system, and I'll
Hmm.
explain the difference.
Hmm.
So let's say today I can conduct a seminar and 50 people attended it, right? What
Hmm.
happens typically without a tool or a technology
Hmm.
is out of those 50 people, you'll write down the names, 5 or 10 who are really interested. You would follow up and chase them. The balance 45 just gets missed out, right?
Hmm.
And
Right.
then you forget when did you meet them, what was the discussion, so on and so forth.
Hmm.
Now when you have a lead generation tool, you would exactly just write down a one liner note against each of those names. When did you meet, what discussion happened, and if the customer told you or if the client told you, call me after 3 months, I have an event where I'm going to sell a property, I'm going to sell a business, I'm going to get so much of cash, so on and so forth. Everything is hard coded there. And then you can tag all those leads as soft leads, cold leads, or hot leads, right? And so what the system then automatically does is on a dashboard, it gives you the movement of those leads. So let's say if you have a cold lead and it remained cold, then either you yourself need to do the introspection on their client, or your RM, if they're working on it, you need to kind of talk to that RM to figure out why that is not moving up. That's first. Second is for larger MFDs who are having a team of relationship managers. Tomorrow, if a relationship manager goes, right, all his leads are in his mind today or in an Excel sheet which he has a control of, right? How
Hmm.
would you do, the handover of those leads
Hmm.
100% to the new person who's going to take over? If it's
Hmm.
there in the system, it's just at a click of a button, you can reassign it to a relationship manager. Third thing is whoever has talked to that lead, whether it's your customer service person, the owner, which is the mutual fund distributor himself, or one of his or her teammates, right? They can put notes over there which
Hmm.
are there forever. So which means that after 6 months also, if you're having a conversation with the customer, so you have all those notes. So just think of it, Nishan. I met you 6 months back, right? I don't have lead management tool.
Hmm.
After that, I met one or two more times, and then I'm meeting you after 6 months. I won't recollect what I had talked to you, right? So our conversation beginning, we won't have an icebreaker. It has to start from the beginning, right?
Hmm.
Whereas if I have everything in the lead management tool, I exactly know that, hey, 3 months back it was Nishant's son's birthday, right? So when I meet with you, I can just start the conversation with, hey Nishant, how was your son's party? And then, we go for from there. So between the two conversation, there is a massive difference of bonding with the potential customer. And that is the big difference between a closure and a lead remaining a lead. And that's why, if you see worldwide, all
Hmm.
successful private banks have
Hmm.
a proper lead management and tracking tool,
Hmm.
which right from the senior management to the RM, everyone is hooked onto.
Hmm. Great, great. Amit, you know that MF industry has been currently facing a lot of issue due to KYC challenges. So there are a
Mhm.
lot of changes happening in the KYC front. So how Wylth as a platform can help MFDs do such rectifications, which are related?
Very good question. So KYC obviously is a new hot issue which has come up, and even the bigger issue is the data updation and transaction readiness of all the old customers, right? So and I'll address the second issue first
Hmm.
because so let's take an example. If you all the customers who were onboarded 10, 15 years back, and then they were not very active, and now today they want to be active again,
Hmm.
you can't do a transaction with them because they don't have a PAN number registered, KYC not done, so on and so forth, right? So what our system, the way we have designed is we have, whenever we onboard any mutual fund distributor or for an existing distributor also, we can take a dump of all those customers with all those pending issues and
Mm,
work very closely with the mutual fund distributors to resolve it. Now
mm,
the first point, which is the current issue with the change of KYC
mm,
and now Aadhaar based being compulsory. uh, from a system perspective, there's nothing which we can do much because it's a regulatory change. The only way we can facilitate, the MFDs is try and work with them for
mm,
all their customers and handhold them during that entire process. Because our digital KYC, we have a digital KYC integrated into our platform, which can, help to do that. Uh, Unfortunately, in India till date, we don't have an absolute kind of end-to-end integrated process for KYC as you see, at other parts of the world. Like
mm,
to give you an example, in Singapore, I
mm,
don't need to worry about KYC because, my entire DigiLocker is there with the regulator.
mm,
And as a platform provider, any platform provider can hit that and with customers' approval can
mm,
take all the updated data. So the issue which we face in India, we don't face anywhere outside in the developed world. I
mm,
think the reason also why we are moving towards Aadhaar in India is
mm.
probably at some point in time, the Indian regulator will also adopt the same way as it happens, because DigiLocker was essentially introduced for the same concept, though it's not properly widely used in India.
Okay, okay. So going forward, I mean, the journey would be smooth if they use tech-enabled platform, especially with respect to KYC.
I believe so. And, KYC is, just a start point, but obviously there are a lot of other issues also. Yashi, I think he has a question, but sir, can we just take all the questions after the webinar? We'll have 15-20 minutes, to address all the questions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So before moving on, so I would request all the participants to put questions in the Q&A box so that we can take it. Amit, so today many MFDs or advisors have their own website, social media presence, and they use some kind of business software as well. So what should be the next step to completely digitalize their business from here?
Sure. I think step one, if you already have your website and social media presence, I think you are 50-60% there because, that's the most important thing in today's world to have some sort of digital presence. Now, once you have that, you need to improve on that, which means that whether your websites have the right SEO, so, anyone in your area who is looking for a financial advisor, when they type it, whether your name comes among the top 5, top 10 advisors or doesn't come. Because if you're not on the first page, it doesn't matter because no one is going to go to the second page. It's like when we do Google search and we try to find something, none of us go to second page, right? We only look at the top 5, top 6 hits, and we just work with those 5, 6 hits.
Hmm.
So that is important. Second thing is, they need an absolute white label platform which can integrate with their website, where any customer of theirs who has gone on their website, or MFD's website, on a click of a button, on a fully white label basis, should be able to access the comprehensive platform, right?
Hmm.
And third, I think, and the most important thing in today's world is to have a good multi-asset platform because mutual fund is only 16%. So if you see the total data today in the industry wide, 16% penetration of investable surplus is in mutual funds. Around 25-30% is in insurance, then fixed deposits, and then 5 to 7% in PMS and other products.
Hmm.
Now, the share of alternatives is increasing, by almost a percentage point every year. So a few years back, it used to be, virtually nothing. Today, it has moved to around 5-6%, especially in the, middle and upper middle class investors, which is what our MFDs target. Because the, industry survey which we have done, and also when I see at a broader level the total number of mutual, business which we have on our platform, we find that per account, the average relationship is around 7 to 8 lakhs, which means that per family, the average relationship is around 24, 25 lakhs, assuming three members in a family. Now, in that situation, if you look at it, this customer would be looking at various other options also. So you need a platform today that is enable for you to service these customers across different products, whether it's insurance, whether it's PMS, because that's something which is the customer's requirement. You don't have to go and sell it. That is something which a customer is taking from some other provider. You need to go and tell the customer that, hey, I can provide the same product, but in an integrated fashion with your mutual fund investment. Plus, fortunately, in our case, our mutual fund distributor is one of the most trusted advisor of the customer. So it's an irony that in India, a mutual fund distributor has only 7-8% of the client's wallet share, but the client always goes to that advisor for every decision of theirs, right? The reason they don't execute those with a distributor, whether it's a loan or whether it's any other transaction, is because in customers' mind they always believe that this gentleman or this lady is only and only mutual fund distributor. That is what we need to break, right? And that is what technology would help to break that mindset. And once that is kind of taken care of, there is no reason why a customer should deal with a bank, right? Except opening a savings and current account. Everything else should be handled by the advisor. And that is what happens worldwide. In US, if you look at it, you don't have a mutual fund distributor. You have only a financial advisor who caters to everything of the customer, whether it's alternatives, it's direct equity, or it's mutual funds.
Okay. But what would be the cost implication of these technological advancement if you put some numbers to it?
So, cost implication for the mutual fund distributor is virtually nothing, right? Because the providers like ourselves have created a platform and borne that cost, right? The beauty in this entire structure is we are not manufacturing. None of the platform provider is a manufacturer, right? They are essentially a front end, and at the back they have tied up with different manufacturers, which
Right.
a mutual fund distributor can decide whether they want to deal with that manufacturer or they don't want to deal with that manufacturer. So let's say on our platform, we have multiple products. Today, a distributor may say that I don't like P2P investment. They can switch off that product. So their customer or their relationship manager would not see that product at all, right? Versus someone saying that, okay, I want to show everything to my customer, right? Uh, the way, I don't know about others, how they do it. A lot of others have priced it very high. I am a firm believer that it doesn't make sense for me to make money when someone else is not making money, right? We are of a school of thought where we believe that if we have to grow, we have to grow together. And
Yes.
that's why, for all the people whom we have reached out and who have partnered with us, they know this, that in our case, the way we price is our platform is absolutely inexpensive, right? We are the probably the cheapest in the market, right? But from a feature perspective, we are the best in the market from a products and features perspective. Today, no one has a chatbot in the industry. Today, no one has lead management in the CRM tool in the industry. We have fantastic portfolio analytics. So all these things, come as a packaged product to the investor. And any MFD who takes our full suite, which means full white labeling of the mobile app and website, full chatbot service, and full platform of ours, including all assets and everything. On the higher end, it's going to cost them 35,000 rupees, right? Which is nothing. And that's basically a lot of other players in the market. That is their base price for their basic mutual fund product, right?
Right.
With
Yeah.
no chatbot, with no CRM, and with no multi-asset reporting and so on and so forth. So I think the way, and that's why what I believe is that technology is something which is going to revolutionize things, and we want to be the leaders in that space. Yes, our technology today may not be perfect. There may be some changes we may need to do in our reporting formats and structures, which is what we have been doing for the last 6 months. We take positive feedback from all the advisors and try and immediately tweak it so that it's delivered to them. But from a profile perspective, it's everything is there, right? So our view is we want to work together with mutual fund distributors with a very clear understanding that we grow only if you grow, and that's how our pricing also. We don't charge AUM fees, we don't make any money on mutual funds, so on and so forth, right? Plus, we are also what another issue we recognize very clearly is most of the mutual fund distributors, who are less than 50 crores of AUM, which is,
Mm,
I would say, 95% of the total industry, right?
mm,
Today they struggle in contacting new customers or cross-selling to their existing customers because they don't get time out of their customer service of mutual fund piece, right? So
mm,
then we said, what if we create a calling center, right? We created a calling center ourselves with professional telecallers who would call up the customers
mm,
of the IFA on behalf of the financial advisor,
mm.
right? And pitch the product which the financial advisor wants to pitch. So all non-mutual fund products which are there on our platform, we
Right.
have a call center. We don't charge anything to the advisor,
Mm,
right? Because our philosophy is that if we are able to generate more business for you for non-mutual fund products, because their core is mutual fund, they
mm,
don't touch most of the other products non-mutual fund. So
mm,
if we are able to generate demand and do business with their customers under their name, right, under everything of theirs, then we get some share of revenue out of it, and major share of the revenue goes to the distributor, right?
mm,
And in this situation, we are taking the bet that, okay, if no business happens, I've invested money on telecallers and I pay for that.
mm,
So the distributor is not being charged a single penny for it, right? So that's why we are the only ones who have absolute variable pricing
mm,
on all non-mutual fund products. On mutual products, we don't charge anything.
mm. Got it. Got it. So, Amit, this is very interesting question. So, how can digital technology help in increasing engagement with clients and clients' retention? What is your view?
It's a very good question. And I think in today's world, people who have digital engagement are the people or services which have grown, right? Now, whether you look at, an absolute core product like an Amazon, Reliance, or whatever, or you look at sophisticated private banks, today engagement is very, very important because there is so much of noise around, right?
Mm,
So whether we believe or we don't believe, but our customer every minute is knocked on their doors by 10 other advisors,
mm,
whether it may be a priority bank, whether
mm,
it may be a loan provider who has sold your data to someone else who is calling you up, or it's a brokerage firm or whatever. But there are 10 other people who are knocking the customer's door. So how would we ensure that whatever efforts we have put in getting this customer in, we do retain that customer, right? And the only way that can happen is through digital engagement, because physical engagement is impossible, right? How can you keep on calling a customer, because he'll get irritated and he'll kind of probably move out of you, right? The
mm,
advantage of digital engagement is customer will view that when he or she has time, you are
mm,
not infringing on their privacy,
mm,
right? But
mm,
if you are interacting with the customer in the right format with right and quality content, then
mm,
the probability of you being seen and heard is
mm,
much higher than someone else who is just doing a cold call to the customer at
mm,
the distributor's convenience and not the customer's convenience, right?
mm,
So and that's why it's very, very important. Now let me just break it down to different channels. The
mm,
first thing, as I mentioned to you, the chatbot. Now, today, most of the distributors have created a distribution group, which means that there are 500 people in one group. So everyone knows that, boss, I'm part of that 500 people or 5,000 people. There is no personal engagement. So everyone would have put that group on silent. No one looks at it. I am part of so many of those groups, I don't look at it, right? Vis-a-vis that, if a distributor through a chatbot WhatsApp integration is sending a one-on-one WhatsApp,
mm,
to his or her key customer, then
mm,
it's a personalized message with a blue tick, which means a very authentic kind of one. So that engagement and that relevance would be of a very different level. That's one. Second thing is, on an ongoing basis for every promotion or whatever it is, right? People would just blast the emails, but they don't get the analytics. How
mm,
many of their customers viewed the presentation? How many didn't view it? So when you pick up a call, you're just calling in blind, right? You
mm,
just your conversation with, sir, I had sent this thing. Hope
mm,
you have seen it.
mm,
Versus you get a full analytics of the marketing mails which you have sent one on one to the customer, where you know that these 20 customers have seen, these 80 customers have not seen. So
mm,
to those 20, you would say, sir, thank you for, seeing my email. I hope, you liked it. And if any further question, I'm happy to answer. And
mm,
for the balance 80, you're just calling up and saying, hey, sir, I sent this 2 days back. I believe you'll be busy, but I would appreciate if you can see it. This is a very interesting product, right? So then it's a much more meaningful conversation, and the customer also knows that, hey, this guy knows that I'm not reading the mail, right? So from that perspective, I think, today in today's world, because digital tools are available and not very expensive, and because you have players like us who are ready to make that long-term investment, in integrating everything, I think I would strongly urge every distributor, whether they use my service or anyone else's service, but to be digitally savvy and move towards that transition, because this is kind of a COVID moment in the industry where entire thing is going to change. So if you look at it, we had demonetization. Before demonetization, none of our mates had their bank accounts done, right? Or most of them didn't, or most of the vegetable vendors were still taking cash. Now, post demonetization, everyone is on, UPI based thing, and post COVID, now everyone is there, right? So this is that kind of moment that people who would not catch up in the next 1 or 2 years will also grow. I'm not saying because the industry itself is growing massively. My view is that, in the next 5 years, the total AUM will be more than 5x of what we are seeing it today. I think more than 2x will be just because of the market growth, 2.5 to 3x will be because of market growth, and the balance will be because of the new money coming in, right? So today, the mutual fund distributors who are managing, let's say, roughly around 12 and a half lakh crores, that number is going to grow to at least 50 to 60 lakh crores of AUM in the next 5 to 7 years' time, right? So you're going to see people who are managing 50 crores going to 500 and 5,000 crores, and you're going to see people who are managing 50 crores going to 50 or 100 to 150 crores. So that's what is going to differentiate between people using technology, people not using technology.
Great. So, Amit, can we take some audience questions? I guess two has been answered by Sujit. Yeah.
Sure.
We have three open questions. So, Lakshman Swami Shanmugam wants to understand, could you please spell out a few private tools which are good? Private tools as in marketing tool or
Yeah. So my understanding is they are asking for, online private tools. I would suggest, the first and the foremost is Facebook. I think that's a very powerful medium because all of your customers would have Facebook account. And the good part in Facebook is you can decide how much money you want to spend, and Facebook optimizes that for your clientele. So, it's a very easy way, to monitor the monetization, of that. The second tool is, I would strongly suggest to have a MailChimp subscription so that if you want to send bulk mails and stuff, it becomes easier. Otherwise, sending bulk messages from your normal Google account or any other service provider you use would end up going into, spam mail of the customer. Whereas using something like a MailChimp or, Zoho Mails or any other format, would ensure that it goes through properly.
Okay, so Yash wants to understand whether he can replace his existing software with Wylth software and how Wylth will help him, grow his presence in social media.
Sure. The first answer is very easy. How we can help you, in your social media is basically if you are, taking our subscription with our chatbot, then obviously, your account would be set up with Facebook for your blue tick messages and stuff, and we can go in details, on a separate call to show you the benefits and everything of it. But essentially, your mode of communication with all your customers would become much more authentic and genuine. Plus, you would have an approval from Facebook. So that is the first thing. The second thing is we can help you. We have an integrated bulk messaging system, so we can help you through our marketing team. Generating various messages which can be sent out to your customers and help you to track what I mentioned earlier on, how many of those customers have seen, not seen, and send you all those analytics, for that. Third thing is we have a fantastic calendar function where we have a corporate Zoom subscription ourselves, where you can, through the calendar, schedule Zoom calls with your customers and send across calendar invites, so on and so forth. You don't need your Zoom subscription, it's our Zoom subscription. which you can use. If you have your own corporate subscription, professional subscription, you can link that also with our platform. So these are a few of the things which we can help you. But besides that, once we understand your requirement, our marketing team can come and suggest you a lot of other options, because we work very closely with a lot of our, clients or
Mm.
mutual fund distributors who are on our platform. I hope I have answered your questions. And if anyone wants to ask question also, I can open up, and allow you to kind of ask questions online.
Okay. So Amit, Viran Patel wants to understand. He is currently using a few software. Now he wants to know how can Wylth add value to him.
Sure.
Mm.
See, currently, yes, 1 minute I'll open up your this thing. I'll just answer, Viren's question first.
Mm.
See, Red Vision is a fantastic platform. They have been servicing the industry, for such a long time, and I have very high regards for them. Similarly, other platforms also. See, today the problem which most of the platforms or most of the distributors are facing is for doing two or three different things. They have to have two or three different subscriptions. And those are all differently paid subscriptions, unfortunately not integrated with each other. So
Mm.
whether you want to do portfolio analytics, or you want to, do any of the CRM tools, or you want to do just a mutual fund execution tool, today you go and do three different subscriptions. You end up paying, north of a lakh of rupees a year.
Mm.
Plus, they are all three different platforms, and they talk to each other, but then they're still three different platforms, not one integrated. So, a customer don't see it as one platform. What Wylth does is we have got everything under one house, under Wylth umbrella, where the entire CRM plus analytics plus reporting plus execution across all platforms are integrated.
Mm.
Now, fortunately, it's very easy to integrate everything, because whatever technology or platform you are using, within 2 to 3 days, you can be live on Wylth platform. We are not asking any advisor to switch off what they are using. The
Mm.
way we say is, you come on board, you start using us, and once you're comfortable, you switch off the other subscription and move to us fully. Because anyways, we are very inexpensive in that sense that it won't hit you. And also, we have 1 month money back guarantee. So after 1 month of using us, if you don't like us, we pay you money back. Because I am a believer that, if I'm not able to kind of offer you what you want, I don't have any rights to kind of, have you as my customer. So that we are very clear on.
Mm.
Um, 1 second. Sorry. Yash, can you raise your hand again? I can't see your hand here. 1 second. How come I'm not seeing the
Okay. So
Nishan? Can you just allow him? Somehow I'm not able to allow Yash.
I don't have access to that. Yeah, I don't have access to that. Yeah. One last question that I want to ask you, Amit, is that how can MFDs enhance client experience digitally?
Yeah, I'll answer that question, but I think I could manage Yash. Yash, you can
Yes,
ask your
sir.
question, and then I'll answer Nishant's question.
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, go ahead.
Sir, actually, I just heard of all of the presentation. So, like, as of now, I use Masterstroke as for branding and marketing tool. I use
Mhm.
InvestWell as a customer service software. Okay. I use my LinkedIn and Instagram for finance related content. Okay. And initially now, Masterstroke had introduced the CRM also. So are
Mhm.
you giving all this an MFU I use for transaction, MFU activities? And for KYC, I use MFT box. Like all the digital platforms only I use. My work is all digitally around. So are you telling that everything of this your platform provides?
Yes. So whatever you have mentioned, on this call, everything is currently integrated, in our platform. Plus, we have apart from all those things you mentioned, plus we have a chatbot and comprehensive lead management tool, as well as digital proposals, which you can send out to all your customers. So yes. Now, what happens is, I'm telling out of experience, is a lot of financial advisors are used to a particular format. So like Masterstroke is one of the very good platforms. I really admire them. And so you might be used to a particular way of their reporting. So let's take an example that, hypothetically, whether it's Investwell, Advision, whoever, you are used to a capital gains tax report from them, right? Or your customers are used to it. Now, our format may be slightly different because we have some more information, right, on that. So
True.
those are the things. But whether we have a capital gains a capital gains tax report, yes, we have. We have holding report, yes, we have. So all those reports and all those reporting paths and all those marketing tools which you are looking at, we would have it in-house inbuilt into our technology. The look and feel might be slightly different. We are also open, for modifying our platform. So one can take as is, and then we can tell you that, okay, this is great suggestion, and we may take 2-3 months time, to implement that. But to answer your question in a short format, yes, ours is a fully integrated platform. But there might be certain tweaks which we might have to do to meet your exact requirement.
Got
I
it.
hope
And it is
I
white label?
answered.
White
Yes.
label?
Yes.
Okay.
It's white label, and your customer also would have a seamless interface because everything is there. And also, if you have your own web, I assume you would have your own website. We can create a fully white label version, in that sense that even your investor's CRM would look like investor.yash.com, not investors.wealth.com.
Got it. Got it, sir. But sir, just to tell you that we have switched from Fund Expert. We used to use Fund Expert. You would
Mhm.
have heard the name of the platform. So they had also
Yes, yes.
provided white labeled application at a very, very minimum price. But the issue
Yes.
was like around 12K it was. 12K they were providing white labeled application.
Ours
But
is
the
cheaper. Ours
issue
is cheaper than that.
was,
Ours is cheaper than that.
yes, so that don't I'm telling, but the issue was it was very much lagging into the data updation, and the service was like uh, we had to just switch it off. I still have the
I know.
subscription, but I don't use it.
I know that.
That's why.
See,
So that's a
yes,
concern, sir.
again, the issue is, you have to see what is the core functionality of the entity you are dealing with. Okay. So let's take an example. If you deal with us, Red Vision Investwell, our core business model and functionality is, this business, right? So 100% of what we do is this business. Now, platforms like Fund Expert, OFA, if you look at it, they're part of a bigger group, and they don't contribute anything to that group if you see the group revenue, right? So you can understand what will be the focus of the senior management or the owner. Like whether it's for me, for Advision, Investwell, or anyone else, Masterstroke, we are all kind of 100% involved into this. So as founders, we are fully focused in ensuring that things work fine. And, this contributes 100% to our bottom line, right? Versus something else, which is a very small part in an aggregated balance sheet. And this is a common problem I've heard from a lot of people. I think others also have a problem which you didn't mention, is that a lot of these platforms are part of competing business, right? So one of the group entities of these platforms also do the business which you are in, right? So that also gives a lot of discomfort to a lot of advisors. But having said that, obviously they are all very experienced people, and I'm sure if there are issues, they would fix it, just like what we fix if we find any issue in our platform.
So one last question, sir. Like there are so many platforms that are giving like Investwell is seamless, Redvision giving seamless experience, applications are good. So but they are charging at a very high end, as you know. So how come you're giving such a cheap price at this kind of service? Like how can you manage
Very
it?
good question. Very good question. So I'll just repeat. Yes. So my background is wealth management. So I know how to build businesses, and so when I started Wealth, prior to this, I was co-founder of IFL Wealth, which is 361 now. So my belief is, as I mentioned earlier, that today, you're only focused on 8 to 10% of the client's wallet share, right? So I have two choices. One is like other players in the market. I would say that, okay, on this business, you pay me so much money, and that is what my business is. I don't believe in that. My belief is that, hey, today you are focused on getting only 8 to 10% of the client's wallet share. There is another 60, 70% of the client's wallet share, which is into other products, which today you are not doing because your technology doesn't support it. You join us, and we would ensure that we would help you to scale up on that side of the business. And that is where we keep our revenue. So that is where we share 25, 75, 25% to us, 75% to you for all the non-mutual fund business, which if you decide to do on my platform, right? Also, we are not forcing you to do it. So if you heard me earlier, we don't push any products. You as an advisor have a choice to switch on, switch off. Tomorrow you may say, I only want to do mutual funds. I'm fine with it. I'll still give you my platform with full services, right? Because yes, my belief is that if I have 10,000 advisors, 6,000 of them today would at some point in time would take this digital adoption and would start doing other businesses because they'll be forced to do it, right? So I'll give you a classic example. SEBI, if you're reading all the SEBI, white papers and stuff, SEBI is very clear. They want to bring the expense ratio down by at least 50 to 75 basis points in the next 12 months to 12 to 24 months, right? So if the expense ratio comes down by even 50 basis points, the distribution payout is going to go down by at least 30 to 40 basis points because no AMC is going to bear the full brunt. They'll pass on at least 50 to 75% of the brunt to you, right? So today, if your retention is 95 to 100 basis points on your portfolio, right, it's going to drop to around 60, 65 basis points. At that point in time, this business standalone may not be as viable. Now, all of you have done the most difficult thing right, which is gaining the customer's confidence and you being there for the customer 24/7, right? Now, the easier thing, which is to penetrate to the customer's wallet share and start, offering him different other products, is bound to happen, right? It's just a matter of time. And that is where, we are going to, make, long-term money is what I believe, and that's why I'm ready to invest today in the next 5 years, in building a business which in the next 5 to 10 years can help you and me grow together. So I hope I have answered your question, and I think this is a question I always get asked, that what is the catch, And my simple answer to that is there's no catch. The reason I am 10,000 and why others are 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakhs is because for them, your mutual fund business is the only business they are looking at, which is only 8% of the client's wallet share. And I'm looking at you penetrating 100% of the client's wallet share with the help of Wylth and both of us growing together.
So just to list down few, what are the other products you're focusing on?
So currently, on the investment side, the products which we have on our platform, I'll just mention. Obviously, other products are also in works, but on our platform, live basis, we have mutual funds, all platforms, where at transaction level, you can decide which platform to execute on. Then we have P2P. We have a small case. We are looking at getting bonds and stuff, where we'll do the warehousing and then you can downsell the bonds through our distribution channel. So that's something which we are going to start very soon, because today the biggest, you would have read in news that the minimum price for bond transactions have been lowered drastically. So now it has become affordable for retail investors to buy. But then for those quantity, if you want to buy 5 lakh, 10 lakh rupees worth of bonds, you don't get it because the lots are 1 crore, 5 crores, right? So we are planning to kind of get that problem solved, not by doing fractionalization of bond, but actually by buying in wholesale and selling in retail to your customers, whereby helping you to kind of make a bit of money out of it. Then on the insurance side, we have all the insurances covered. And then on the credit side, today we have loan against securities, and we have all the SME loans. So these are all products already available on our platform. In the next 6 to 12 months time, our vision is to make this like a bank in a box, where everything except a current and a savings account, what a bank can offer, we should be able to offer on our platform.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Thank you. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
So Amit,
Thank you so much, Yash.
Since we are running out of time, one last question. So you already talked about enhancing the customer experience, but I was talking about, so today you talked about chatbot and other services, but what would be the future of that? I mean, what after that to enhance the client
Uh,
experience?
so you're talking from a distributor's perspective, right?
The distributor's perspective.
Okay. So let's take an example. Let's take a client journey. Okay. I'll tell what a client has to face today, and then we'll take it up to, what a client would eventually kind of should be doing it, right? So today, as a client, when I wake up, I want to see my portfolio, or I have a query, or I want to do a transaction or do anything. I have to call up my advisor. My advisor picks up a phone, doesn't pick up the phone. He doesn't answer me immediately because he has to also get it through some system and get all those details out to me, right? Uh, so that's the current journey. Now the problem is in India today, if you look at it, and that's true in most part of the world, is most of the investors want to do something at a particular time, but then if you don't execute it at that particular time, he would just not do that, and he might move to someone else. Let me give an example.
Mm.
Today an investor wants some liquidity, right?
Mm.
So the normal trend is he would just go and file a redemption in mutual fund, though the
Mm.
liquidity may be for 6 months, 9 months requirement, but he would still go and file a redemption, right? What
Mm.
we are trying to build as an sys platform, AI system, is when a customer is planning to file a redemption, there should be a pop-up which should say that, hey, you can take a loan, right? And an IFA should be informed that this customer is looking for a redemption. So we like try to preempt it. That's something we're trying to build it, right? So that two things happen. One is when a redemption is filed, to get that money back in the system to that IFA is practically impossible because there are 10 other IFAs who are fighting for the same business. And second thing is you lose the trail.
Mm.
Instead of that, if there's an AI who comes and prompts the customer that, hey, rather than selling the fund which has been giving you 15% CAGR, what if you take a short-term loan at a cost of let's say 8 or 9%, right? 9 out of 10 customer might end up taking a loan. Right.
Mm.
So the first use case which I'm saying is my view is in the next 5 years, the entire gold loan market will move to loan against mutual fund
Mm.
because SIP has become one of the biggest number, right? So today the new generation, if you look at it, everyone in my office, all the youngsters we have hired, none of them invest into properties and do anything or invest in jewelry. They all are only and only doing SIPs, right? So at some point in time when they need liquidity, they won't have gold to go and leverage it. They would have SIP to go and leverage it, right? So today, if I'm a customer, I wake up, I need anything, right? In a digital world, I just put a message that, hey, I want my account statement, I want my capital gain statement. I don't need to call up anyone. It automatically pops up on my platform, right? I get my work done, I'm done with it, right? So an advisor would provide me that. I would probably do more business with that advisor than an advisor whom I have to physically call up, right? It's quite intuitive on that sense. Second thing is if I want to redeem a unit and if my AI has prompted that, hey, instead of redemption, why don't you kind of look at loans? And if I do that and over a period of time, I see the benefit of it, obviously my relationship with my advisor is going to be more and more stronger on that sense. Third thing is today, any loans or any other products I need to go to 5 or 7 different entities to provide to meet my requirement versus that today one single platform or one source of truth and I can do everything on it, right? So that becomes today why people go to Amazon and buy things, why they don't go into different shops on their website and buy 10 things from 10 different shops because of convenience, right? So end of it, what we want to do is offer that convenience. Fortunately for us, because we are not custodian of money, there is zero risk a customer takes on me or a financial distributor takes on me, right? Internationally, most of the platforms are custodians also, which means the money has to be routed through that platform, which means you take a risk of that platform. Indian system that way is fantastic, where there is absolute zero risk, on that sense. So we want to be a front end or like a neobank, as you call it in international parlance, where without being a manufacturer, we want to offer all the products on our platform where a financial distributor can decide what products they want, what products they don't want. Also, we would always be independent. That's why we never have our own code. There are a lot of other new players who do both the businesses. They have their own ARN code also, and then they offer the technology also. we don't believe in that business because it's very difficult kind of, to manage those Chinese walls and stuff. So we'll always be independent, we'll always be with the distributors, and we would always listen to them. And that's what you talk to. Currently, we have around 300-400 MFDs who have partnered with us in the last few months, and you can talk to all of them. One uniform thing would come out that from a customer service perspective and customer listening perspective, we are always there. My phone number is there with every one of them, and I'm accessible to every one of them, right? And this doesn't happen with all other players if you look at it. So some of our competitors who have been there for ages, their customer service literally sucks. You don't get into them. Today, a 5 crore MFD or a 500 crore MFD both have a direct access to me, and I listen to their calls, right? So that's a massive difference. It's not just about technology; it's about the ecosystem. We are creating an ecosystem where together as a cooperative, we'll all grow. We benefit from each other's strengths, and we try and overcome each other's weaknesses.
Okay. So we have a lot of questions pouring in. I'm sure your team would address all of these questions, maybe offline. So with that, we have come to an end to this interesting session. Thank you so much, Amit, for your valuable time and inputs.
Thank you so much, Nishant, for having me. And, we are always available. So any one of you can, connect with our customer success team. And they would also come back to you, for any of the questions that have not been answered.
Okay. Finally, I thank each one of you for being such a wonderful audience. Have a great day at work, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.